Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an amazing show that's forthcoming. I'm excited about our topic, excited about this time of impartation into each one of you. Look forward to it. Join us real soon. Thank you for being on the ride with me. I appreciate you. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Derek McGee, and I am the host of Leadership Matters podcast. Thank you for being a part of another episode of our podcast. We are now recording episode number 5. And as I said at the end of last month's episode, we are pre recording these podcasts for now as we venture into live streaming them because this is our inaugural year. I wanted to make sure we had enough material for the podcast before we ventured into live stream. But that is our ultimate goal. So we are in the month of May. Today is May 2nd, and we are excited about where we are in that regard. So today we're going to have an amazing show, amazing time of imparting to each one of you who are leaders. And I am grateful for those who have been supportive of the show thus far. Those of you who have watched the videos, those of you who have shared the videos with other persons. I don't say that I am the best leader. I don't say that I am the resident expert. I try to give leadership impact and make sure that leadership matters from my vantage point and my years of being blessed to be in leadership roles and capacities in my past and my present, and also will be in my future as well. So again, thank you for being a part of another recording, another episode of Leadership Matters. Today, our topic is leading through resistance and fear. Leading through resistance and fear. I would submit at the outset that there are many leaders who find themselves relating to the topic before we even get into the nuggets, right? Leading through resistance and fear. There is this misnomer that people believe that because you're in leadership role, that you approach every day with excitement, with joy, with glee, with no resistance and no fear. And we both know that's not true at all. Oftentimes, as a leader, you are leading in spite of the fear or despite the fear that you experience, right? You have committed yourself to the ultimate outcome, so you don't allow fear to hinder you or prevent you from proceeding. Doesn't mean that you're an ineffective leader. It doesn't mean that the leadership is easy. Most leaders, if not all leaders, have an example of a scenario where they had to press forward even when they had resisting winds coming against them, had to press forward even when they were fearful and afraid of the outcome or fearful, afraid of what if this doesn't work out. Today's show is about that, is leading through resistance and fear. If you hear nothing I'm going to say today, let me say this at the outset. If you are facing resistance and you're facing fear as a leader, let me say it now. Keep going. Keep going. Because if you allow yourself to surrender to the resistance or to the fear, you allow yourself to slow down or stop, getting started again will be much harder than you realize. So do not allow yourself to give in to the temptation of surrendering to the resistance, temptation of resistance to the fear. Persevere, press forward, research and find other persons who had to overcome similar to what you are going through, but commit to yourself not to quit. Let me say this to you. Leading through resistance and fear requires more than confidence. It requires clarity, steadiness, and trust, right? It's more than just confidence. And while you ought to be confident as a leader, more is required of you. It's going to require you to be clear, like be clarity, right? Clear in as to how you're leading, clear as to what you're expecting of those who you're leading, clear as to what you expect of yourself while you're leading. Steadiness, though, you can't be tossed to and fro, right? You got to be steady in that regard. You can't expect people to follow you when you seem unstable, when you seem inconsistent, right? People have a hard time trusting you if they don't see that you actually believe in what you are saying. So be mindful of that, that you have to be clear, you have to be steady, also you got to be trustworthy, right? You saying it doesn't mean I'm going to believe it, right? You saying it doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. My trust in you develops over time based on how you carry yourself, which is your character, but also based on how you bring about results and how you include people in that regard. I'm not going to trust someone who doesn't do any of the work but takes all the credit. I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone who say show up at this time. I show up and they're not there. I don't trust that. I don't trust people who do a lot of talking with no fruit to bear. Be careful of that. Be careful also of people who want to give you constructive criticism when they've never constructed anything in their lives. What does that mean? That means people who always have criticism to render about decisions that you are making. You look at their lives, they don't have anything to point to that actually qualifies them to be a criticizer. But again, leading through resistance and fear requires more than confidence. It requires clarity, it requires steadiness, and it requires trust. I put on the screen some more wording, which is people rarely resist change simply because they dislike change. They resist because what they resist what they don't understand, they don't trust what they fear they might lose. You do understand that, right? That most people, I probably shouldn't say most, a good number of people are absolutely okay with change. Their fear about the change is not the change, it's about what they may lose as a result of the change, right? And so that's important to know, leaders, that when you are trying to implement a change in your organization, instead of you just dropping on everybody at one point, you may want to consider a phased approach, right? Where you first talk about the change, talk about the why is necessary, lay out the end result of what that will look like successfully, let the people see themselves in that vision before you just come and force them to change. Because if you force it upon them, they'll resent you and they will leave you. That's important for us to understand. Something else I want you to know: a good leader recognizes that resistance is often information, not insubordination. Now, what does that mean? What that means is if you're not clear in the information, if you're not clear in presenting, explaining, and displaying the information, the people have a hard time. You deem them being insubordinate when they're not insubordinate. They're resisting the information because either you haven't clearly laid it out, or you think that you are clearly communicating and they're not processing what you are saying. So understand this: say it, say it again, and say it again. Be content and be comfortable with having to repeat yourself, not because people around you are illiterate, it's because they're trying to grasp what it is that you're explaining. The vision is yours, right? It's your vision. So because it's your vision, you've already bought into it. You're already sold up on it. You already see it. Most of them don't see it. Along with me being blessed to be a leader in many marketplace settings, I'm also a pastor, which gives me pastoral leadership, right? The church that I pastor, I was blessed almost 16 years ago, the church plant. And the building that we're in now, that we own, thank God for that. When I moved into that, we moved into that building. When I first saw the building, what people see today is not what the building looked like almost 15 years ago. The people whom I'm blessed to pastor, who's been with me the entire ride, they will tell you they did not see the building as I saw the building. I saw potential. I saw opportunity. I saw this awesome rendering. Truth of the matter, what the building was dilapidated. What it was torn up blinds and actually had rodents running around, things of that nature. I was not deterred by any of that because I saw something, I believe, that was divinely revealed to me that others did not see. I did not allow what I was currently standing in to stop me from pursuing and communicating and informing the people of what we're going to look like. So now if you walk into our building, what people celebrate, people compliment is what they see now. What they're walking in today, I saw back in 2011. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, right? It is not insubordination. It's often information. You have not properly informed the people, or you have not clearly communicated with the people on what it is you're trying to do. Listen, I have 7 nuggets that I want to give to you in this episode. There are 7 nuggets that I want to give to you. I think will be very, very important to help you in that regard. Again, our topic today is leading through resistance and fear. Leading through resistance and fear, right? And for each leader listening to me, commit to persevering even against the winds of resistance, even against the emotion of fear. Persevere. Do not allow yourself to let up. Quitting is the easy thing. Quitting is the easy thing. There's so many things and there's so many reasons why quitting can be done. Don't allow yourself to give in to any of that. Do not. But I want to give you 7 nuggets that will help you lead through resistance and fear. Nugget number 1: resistance is rarely rebellion. It is often uncertainty looking for reassurance. Give it to you again. Resistance is rarely rebellion. It is often uncertainty looking for reassurance, right? If you are not careful, leaders, you will deem resistance to be rebellion from the people when it's not that. They actually believe in you. It's having a hard time grasping what you are presenting. And so you gotta provide them some reassurances in the face of their uncertainty. You got to reassure them of their placement in what it is that you are laying out. You got to reassure them that what you are saying is possible. You got to reassure them that you're not going to leave them halfway on the journey. You got to reassure them of past successes you all have had together, and why you believe that the team that's in place now is the right team for where you are going. You got to give them some reassurances, because what you're trying to do, they don't fully grasp. And so although you're trying to present this grandiose picture, truth of the matter is they can't see it. Just behind me is an amazing, amazing rendering, right? But you don't realize it's an amazing rendering. What this really is, it's not really a photo. It's actually a TV. It's actually a TV. But when you walk into this office, you wouldn't know that, because the manufacturer designed it to look like a photo that only becomes a TV when the remote control turns it on. Now, why is that important? Because if you're not careful, you will assume what you see is what you see, when truth of the matter is there's so much more behind what it is that you are seeing. And so, leaders, resistance is rarely rebellion. It is often uncertainty looking for reassurance. Reassure the people, especially if you believe they're the right people on the train with you. Second nugget: people can handle hard truth better than confusing silence. We try to pacify people, so we don't tell them, we don't give them hard truth. We try to spoon feed them versus treat them as adults. And so if you're not careful, your silence creates a greater problem than the hard truth ever will. Hard truths may hurt feelings for a moment, but they'll maturely get out of it. But when you are silent, it's confusing. And so understand that. Silence is also hard because guess what? They see the resistance like you see the resistance. Sometimes they feel like you feel it. And so you not acknowledging it, you being quiet about it, doesn't make you a popular, powerful leader. It creates more confusion. Because if I'm on the boat with you and the wind of resistance is knocking our boat back and forth, guess who feels that? Everyone on the boat. And if you're in denial saying, I don't feel anything, I know you're lying. And now I've lost confidence in your leadership because you're operating in denial and a lack of integrity. So remember, people can handle hard truth better than confusing silence. Leaders, the wrong time to be silent is when resistance is hitting the organization. They got to hear from you. They must hear from you. When a athletic team, let's use basketball for example. When you're losing at halftime and you go into their locker room, there's frustration, there is discouragement, there is friction amongst the players. Guess who can bring a calm to that setting? The coach. It's the coach. You are paid not just to be like when you're winning. You're also paid to keep everybody together, even in the midst of hardship. And so you're the one that has to go in the face of resistance and fear and command the room. Nugget number three: when change is necessary, over communicate the why before demanding the what. I love number three. Let me say it again slowly. When change is necessary, over communicate the why before demanding the what. The first part is so important. You must first ask yourself a serious question: is change necessary? Not do I want to change? Is it necessary? Because sometimes as a leader, you want change for change's sake, not because change is necessary. But when change is necessary, over communicate the why the change is necessary before demanding the what from anybody. Why are we making this change? Why are we making a change right now? And hear me, you can't use these words because I said so. We're not children. You can't treat your employees like children. Can't treat your followers like children. So you can't use mom to daughter, father to son words by saying because I said so. That doesn't work. It didn't work on that child. It's not going to work on your employees. You have to over communicate the why. Why are we making this change? Why are we making this change right now? And like it or not, they actually deserve an answer to the question because you're asking them to trust you in a change that you are making that they don't fully understand the why. And if you're not careful, if you don't over communicate with your employees, you give them a free pass to leave you. Free pass to leave you. Because don't misconstrue my loyalty for your ability to leave me out when it comes to explanation. Don't do that. When change is necessary, over communicate the why for demanding the what. I believe this. You should always begin with the why in mind. So if I explain to you why we're going to do something, how we do it becomes much more easier. What we're going to do to get it done is much easier when I understand the why. But if you don't communicate the why, the what, the how, the when, the where, all of that stuff becomes that much harder to grasp because I don't understand why we're doing this. Go a little bit further. Nugget number four: leadership is not eliminating fear. Let's stop right there. Leadership is not eliminating fear. Every leader, listen to me loud and clear. Stop trying to eliminate fear. You're not all powerful. You do not have the power to eliminate fear. So leadership is not eliminating fear, it's helping people move forward despite it. If we're not careful, we'll give false hope and make false attempts in areas that we do not have the power to do so. Leadership is not eliminating fear. It is helping people move forward despite it. Every person that you lead battles with fear. Every person that you lead battle with fear. You as the leader, you battle with fear. Since that is true, you can't try to eliminate fear because you don't have the power to do that. But you do have the power to encourage and to motivate and help people move forward despite of it. Because there are people, you have 10 employees who are all experiencing fear. All 10 of them know they're going through fear. Almost half of them are actually trying to figure out if they should press forward. But somewhere in that 10, at least one or two have made up in their mind they're not going, they're not gonna keep going. So what do? How do you help them move forward? Your character matters, your helping hand matters, but you cannot help them if you're trying to eliminate it. No, they have to face this is a reality. I left Los Angeles, California to move all the way to Tallahassee, Florida to go to college back in 1996. No family, no friends, no previous history in the city of Tallahassee. I had a dream of higher academics, had a dream of excelling. That was my dream. That's what pushed me. But guess what? I was still scared. I got off that plane in Tallahassee, got in that cab, rolled to the campus, got my suitcases out, went into my dorm room. I was afraid. I called home about 8 times in the first 2 hours. All collect, I was scared. I wanted to go home. I was overwhelmed in that regard. The best advice I received was my dad or my mom, one of them said, Try to go meet someone. That began the unpacking and the facing of the fear, because I had to get out of not only my head, but also out of a stuck place. And now put myself in a situation to actually go mingle with people I didn't know. And guess what? After I did that, I probably didn't call home for like at least another 3, 4, 5 days because I was having so much fun, but I had to face the fear. Leadership is not eliminating fear. It is helping people move forward despite it. Nugget number one again is resistance is rarely rebellion. It is often uncertainty looking for reassurance. Nugget number two is people can handle hard truth better than confusing silence. Nugget number three is when change is necessary, over communicate the why before demanding the what. Nugget number four, once again, is leadership is not eliminating fear. It is helping people move forward despite it. Let me give you the last three nuggets. Nugget number five, what people resist is not always a change itself, but the loss they associate with it. Think about that now. It's not that they are resisting the change all the time. They're worried about, what do I lose because of this change? Think about this now. Let me use my scenario about me leaving Los Angeles and moving to Tallahassee. That's a major change, right? So I didn't resist the change of location. My thing was I knew that across the country move, I was going to be losing some things in that regard, right? If I was dating someone, that's not going to last if I'm 3,000 plus miles away, right? It's going to be losing that daily touch of my mother for a season of my life. Going to be losing my mom's home cooked meals, losing time with my childhood friends. You're going to lose things because of that change. What people resist is not always change itself, but the loss they associate with it. In an organization, if you're trying to make drastic changes, people have settled in. So you're talking about changing, they're now becoming uncomfortable because that change is going to require them now to adjust when they finally gotten themselves settled. So think about it now. Don't assume that their resistance to change is about you. It could be about the fact that they finally settled in, and this change is now making them move once again. It's important. Nugget number six: when people feel seen, they become more willing to follow. Number six to me is one of the greatest mishaps of leaders. Right? We don't see the people that we lead. We want them to be blind in their loyalty. Right? Just follow me because I'm leading you. No, no, no. When people feel seen, they become more willing to follow you. A different way of saying this is take care of your employees, they'll take care of you. Look out for your employees, they'll look out for you. It's important to know. When people feel seen, they become more willing to follow. Remember that. See your people, converse with your people, invest in your people, right? Don't be the leader who sees your people in the hallway, you walk right past them. If your title mutes your mouth, you're not worthy of your title. I'll say it again. If your title mutes your mouth, means will cause you to be quiet when you're around people not worthy of your title. You should never become so title oriented you can't converse with people when you interact with them. Because the people you're ignoring in the hallway, they're contributing to the overall success of your organization. People feel seen, become more willing to follow. Our last nugget is nugget number seven. Change moves at the speed of trust. Change moves at the speed of trust. What does that mean? No matter how fast you try to change things, I'm not moving if I do not trust you. Change moves at the speed of trust. If the people trust you as a leader, they will follow your pace in the changes you're trying to make. They'll buy into the changes because they've already bought into you. If they trust you, they'll trust your voice. They trust you, they'll trust your leadership. If they trust you, they'll trust your vision. If they trust you, they'll follow you. Change moves at the speed of trust. You can't tell grown people because I said so. It does not work on grown people. It does not work on children. It will not work on grown people. Communicate. Make it clear. Let them ask questions. right? If you're going to make change within the next 3 months, next 2 months, next month, that means you have to strategically map out how you're going to communicate with the team, what you're going to be doing. It could be a simple change is you're moving office locations, but that change is a major change. It's going to require everybody to contribute to packing up the current location, require them still work through while also packing, right? You're actually going to make sacrifices outside of their everyday 9 to 5 job description. So you have to strategically map out the steps you're going to take, how you're going to communicate those things to people. You can't just walk in and say, "Hey, we're moving Monday," and it's Saturday. In case we're going to move Friday and it's Thursday. It doesn't work that way. People will balk at your leadership, and you do not want to have a staff full of resentful people because you did a poor job of communicating. Once again, leading through resistance and fear. You're not exempt from the wave and the wind of resistance. You're not exempt from the emotion of fear, but you can still lead in the face of it all. I want to close with a story, if I may. Um, I worked in government for 14 years, and I was blessed to work for 3 governors, 2 in their actual executive office behind the secure doors. I got a chance to watch these 2 leaders that I worked for very closely lead in times of resistance and fear. Governor Jeb Bush, he led during 9/11. He led during multiple hurricane seasons. I saw him lead our state. And because I worked behind the secure doors, not at a senior level, but I was back there. I worked directly for his chief of staff. I got a chance to hear him talk, see him lead. I had a chance to see him implement things that he felt were most important for where we were going. 9/11 was scary. It was scary, right? It was an attack on our country. And at the time when it first happened, the assumption was an attack on the Bush family. I watched him lead. I was more senior and very senior under Governor Scott. I watched him lead through hurricane seasons. I watched him lead through the horrific shooting and killing at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School in Parkland. I watched him lead. I watched how he availed himself and made the families of utmost importance, right? I watched him do these things. Governor DeSantis, I never worked for Governor DeSantis, but COVID hit our country. No one was exempt from it. Everybody, you can critique how people did various things. My point is this very clearly. The wrong time to know if you can or cannot trust the leader is when resistance arises. You have to already be bought in that I trust this leader despite what comes against us. And I will tell you, I want to make sure that every leader understands that they'll be able to lead through resistance and fear. Once again, I am Derek McGee, another episode of Leadership Matters podcast. Thank you for making time to be a part of our show. Thank you for making time to allow me to share some nuggets. As I aforementioned, I don't say I'm the resident expert on leadership. I'm the best leader. I have a lot of years of leadership, and I want to be able to share my wisdom with each one of you. Do me a favor, if you will. Won't you like and won't you share today's episode? Do that for me, if you will. If you're enjoying this, won't you subscribe to this channel? You know, every time I upload something, whether it's a live or whether it's something that gets downloaded, I would love to be able to grow our community in this regard. Again, it is my intention to go from pre-recorded to live stream where we can have more of an interactive audience and also bring in some guests. Before we get there, I want to be able to build up our library of substance of videos in that regard. So thank you once again for being a part of our show. I'm appreciative to each one of you. Now, as you go forth and do what you're going to do, please remember that, ladies and gentlemen, leadership, it matters. Blessings.